Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the podcast of destiny. Exchanging bits where the punchlines clash and the tales grow legendary in a thunder crash. Mic check 1, 2, we're the kings of the riffs. Hot takes, bad ideas on a mountain of bits. Exchanging bits, exchanging bits. One rad joke and we rock with it. Exchanging bits, exchanging bits. Raise that riff and get loud with it. Come on! Exchanging bits with your host, Joe Campione. Yeah!
Welcome the fuck back, everybody. Welcome back to Exchanging Bits, the show where we take comedy just a little bit too serious. As always, I'm your host, Joe Campione, coming at you from the man cave. I just smoked a dab and took a few shots of vodka, so thank God I have nothing to do later.
Right.
My New York Knicks are NBA Finals champions. No one thought we would get there, and we
Go
finally
Knicks.
did it. Finally did it after a long period of mediocrity. So, like I said, it's not a sports podcast, but vibes are high in Knicks Nation. We got one. So I got a special guest today, a very special guest to the pod. I've been meaning to do this episode for a minute. Today's guest is a comedian, rapper, R&B artist, one of the funniest dudes I know. Proof ADHD can be a fucking superpower. He got punchlines, punch bars, love songs, and probably a laptop full of half-finished ideas like I do. So you might know him by his rap name, Cozy, but my man Elijah Cozy Cozart. Welcome to the show, bro.
Man, I appreciate it. I think you hit that ADHD shit out the park.
Right?
I tell my folks, I was like, how special do I got to be to join the Special Olympics? Because I'm on the spectrum.
Dude.
It's something about just being fascinated with something and just running towards it.
Well, I mean, you're like me, bro, because I've followed you through the years of your creativity and your shit, and you're very similar to me. We have similar backgrounds. A lot of my followers know I used to rap, I used to do the music shit and pursue the music shit heavy, and then I lean towards comedy, and there's not a lot of people that take that route like we did, and you did the same thing. And I don't know if you're still making music. I'm sure you're still dabbling, doing whatever, but it was an interesting path, and like me and you both took it, went our own ways with it. So what made you get into stand up?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. So I'm gonna answer it like what made me really pursue it recently.
Yeah.
I was broke, right? It was
Okay.
you like
Okay.
it takes a lot to make music. You know what I'm saying? You could easily come up off of $300 before you even put the record out. So at the time I was between jobs, but I wanted to stay creative. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And it was something I was always fascinated with. And like I said, I was figuring it out. So I was like, you know what? Let me try it and let me try it again. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's pretty
So
much what made
so
me.
so you just found an open mic, and you were just like, fuck it. You wrote like what, 3 to 5 minutes? So you wrote like a little material, went up there, or you
So
just
crazy enough, so it actually was a huge gap in the time that I was doing comedy, right? Because when I first tried it, I wasn't doing comedy. It was just something I liked, and I figured
it
I could do it a little bit.
yeah,
Um,
people told
so
you were funny, so you were like, I'm gonna do it. Like,
yeah, so
yeah,
it was actually I was doing music heavily, and we were throwing a party, a kickback situation. And it was more so to kind of build community. So I was there as a host, but just so people can familiarize themselves with me, be a point of
yeah.
contact, and build relationships to work it like that. So we
Which
threw an
you're
event.
the perfect personality for that job too. Like I remember just back at the music shows that we used to do
Mhm.
together, where it was like people would be gravitating to me and then gravitating to you, and it was like that perfect like liaison
Mhm.
to it being,
Like,
like, especially I mean, this is off track a little bit, but
mhm.
the like one of the reasons I kind of took a step back from the music scene and went towards the comedy scene is because like the music scene can be just so toxic. And I don't know if
That's
you
true.
agree with me on this, but like it seems like everybody in the music industry that's like, especially in rapper, like we were around rappers, a lot of rappers
Mhm.
and R&B singers, and like in Atlanta, no doubt, the middle of Atlanta, trying to get their shit off and showcase their talent. So when you met a lot of these folks, they would be cool on the face value, but it kind of seemed like it was all like
Yeah,
a benefit to them. Like you're gonna be another follower, you're gonna be a this or that.
100%.
Whereas like the comedy scene is completely different. It's a bunch of just like degenerates or just people like me and you that were just like fuck it, we're gonna try it.
Yeah,
And if it doesn't pan out, guess what? I'm probably gonna be ADHD enough to find another
another
thing.
task. Yeah,
Exactly. So
it's you kind of hit it on the head. It's like with music, it is kind of a lot of ego in it, right? So it's like, okay, I need to be better than him, and that can exist in comedy, but it looks different, right?
it's
Um,
yeah,
and with comedy though, even when you go do events, it's typically people that want to hear what you do. When you do
that's
music, it's like, how can we connect, or how can I utilize what you do? But because
to
you
benefit my brand. Yeah.
right, and you will be performing in front of mostly other artists. If you go do an open mic, it's people that's coming for comedy, and it's
They came to
genuinely
laugh. They
exactly
came to
people that
laugh.
can be a follower or a fan or a supporter down the line. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Like I said, with this show, like I just kind of like found out naturally through friends and like coworkers and girlfriends, like that, like I care about comedy more than the average. And so
Hmm.
like my thing is like this podcast is probably going to end up branching out to be more of just a life podcast where we talk about
Right.
life with my guests. And then my solo episodes will be more on the comedy tip and review specials and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
but I just want like this art form. It's I'm a writer, you're a writer. I know like we both have made our own shit and put our shit out with our names on it. And like there's nothing like to me. I mean, I've done 2 open mics, bro, stand up.
Hmm.
And the laughs that I got in those 2 stand up sets felt better than any ovation I ever
It's
got rapping.
it's a different high. It's a
Yeah.
really different high. And so like to finish off your first question, we had three comics booked to come to the party that we were throwing. Two of them
Okay.
came, and the third one was a no show. So I was like, "Well, Cozy, don't you do comedy?" And it's one of those things where you should be like, "Oh, not yet," but my ego, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So I did probably not even 5 minutes, probably 3 minutes, crazy laughter, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, okay, we might got something." And
Something written? Did you write it before you went, or did you
it
just
was
off the
it was
cuff?
concepts. It was concepts that I had, but I didn't know how to write a joke. I just knew I found this funny.
And
You
then
know
you
what I
just went
mean?
and went up there and riffed it to
Hmm.
in the moment. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Like
Okay. That's
so
terrifying.
very,
That's terrifying to me. Like,
very.
yeah, even with music and comedy, like I'm the type, like I'm anal about anal. I'm
Yeah.
about like writing my shit and
Hmm.
making sure that if I'm putting my name on the product, that it's like a polished thing. So like more props to you for going up there and just being like, I got some funny ideas. Let's just let it run, see what happens. Like,
So honestly, I'm the same way. I think what because even then I had that one, and I say it was concepts, but I thought about it enough to know where I knew what I wanted to say.
yeah,
But I also feel like the more that I did get on stage, I stopped going on stage doing what I thought a comic would do versus being myself, and it helped me get a little bit more comfortable. You know what I mean?
okay.
So, but
Yeah, student of the game, kind of just like
very.
find a way to that was me. Is like, dude, I ingest so much comedy on like a weekly basis, like whether it's podcasts or just like stand up or
Hmm.
whatever it is, that like I've just slowly become that student of the game where it's you realize it's less about having a funny joke. It's more about, delivery and timing and cadence and deception and being able to hide a joke and not being too far from a laugh. Like I just love the
Yeah.
science behind it. That what makes a joke hit and what makes a joke funny is fucking dope to
Yeah.
me.
And the craziest thing is even when I was doing a deep dive in like comedy, most of the study that I did, it was still for the music because I would go to open mics and I watch people be on stage, and if the song wasn't playing or there was a malfunction, they didn't know what to do. And
Yeah.
hell, I didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay. And all of it kind of, it's like flirting. If you can, you know that saying, if she grins, she in.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I can get you to laugh,
Then
you're more acceptable to what comes next. So I
yeah, but
would throw a joke here, there, and all of the things. And then I noticed I would get off stage and people will come up to me where I'm thinking they're like, yo, that song was amazing. They'll usually, bro, you stupid as hell, bro. You funny as hell. So I'm like, thank you. But that
uh,
song that I just did, what about
yeah,
that? You know what I mean? So
dude, that's the part. And what's funny for me is like I have people, a lot of people that support me with this podcast and love the comedy shit and love where I'm
yeah,
at. And then I also have like that part of my followers that are like, bro, you gotta go back to the music. Like, why did you ever stop making music? And I'm
yeah,
like, because when I was doing that shit, I was 25 and I was doing drugs and I was out in the clubs and I was doing the shit that I was rapping about. And
hmm,
now I'm a fucking 32-year-old man, bro. And
yeah.
I'm just like
He
that.
said, niggas got real bills. Don't nobody want to rap about responsibility and
Hey, I'm
shit.
saying I don't want to rap about the Verizon bill being late this month. You know what I'm saying? Like, when
Sitting
I'm
at the gas tank making real life decisions and shit. I don't want to hear
start
about
rap
that.
start rapping about the price of eggs and shit. Like,
Exactly.
um, so, but like I said, like it truly is still in my bag somewhere. If I put my
Yeah.
mind to it, I'm sure I could write a verse and continue.
One hundred
But
percent, and I
the
still do it. I have like this thing. Have you seen what was the Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary or the Bulls documentary?
I've heard of it. Is it on Netflix or whatever? Or
Netflix.
is it? Yeah. Okay.
So it was this thing where Michael Jordan, he would create beefs in his head with somebody. Like he just walk past somebody and be like, "What you say about my mama?" Or something crazy.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I remember the doc now. I do
mhm.
remember the doc. Yeah.
And so I still do that with rap. I have no adversaries whatsoever. But every so often I'll sit down like these niggas think I can't do it no more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I they think it's just funny. So, okay, all right. And I still, you know what I'm
That's
saying, I get something out, but
that's
you
fun.
know.
And what's funny about that is I was the same. Like I've been on the like not rapping heavy tip for a minute,
Mhm.
and like I would say like 3 years ago. I started the podcast, and while after I started recording the podcast, I was like, I'm gonna start dropping some freestyles too, and I just
Yeah.
like started doing freestyle videos on YouTube out of nowhere with no momentum, no
Mhm.
traction or nothing. Just like, yeah, let me just show y'all that I can do 6 minutes straight on first person shooter because I can. Like,
I mean, I still have audience in the world of dropping an album. Like
yeah,
that's the thing because some of the people that I'm inspired by did it all. You know what I'm saying? You have your Jamie Foxxes, you got Eddie Murphy who had a hit single while he was the biggest comic in the game. So it's like there's
I'm
nothing
glad
saying
you
that we
went into
can't do
that.
it. You know what I
I'm
mean? So
that was gonna be one of my questions of who
mhm,
are your like comedy inspirations. Jamie
yeah,
Foxx is a fucking really good one. That's like
he's
that
fire.
like fine. I mean, not just comedy either. That's just
Hmm.
like entertainment. Just the dude
Royalty.
is yeah. He's the in baseball. There's a term they call a five-tool player, and
Okay,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do everything.
You can do everything. That's Jamie Foxx, bro.
Let me
He
find out you
can,
were a baseball player too.
bro. I played baseball 18 years.
What position?
I was a catcher and a first baseman. I was a big
Third
boy my
base and
whole life.
pitcher. Third
Okay.
base and pitcher. Yeah.
I pretended I could pitch until I started playing dudes that were actually pitching, and I was like, all right, yeah, I can't pitch no more.
I feel it.
That's, but yeah, bro, I love baseball. I'm a big Yankees fan, big fucking I mean just New York sports fan in general.
Yeah, yeah, I did.
But uh but yeah, dude, I was gonna ask you like favorite comedians if like which ones are the ones that stand out. So Jamie, you said Jamie Foxx, who else? Eddie
Hmm.
Murphy.
Jamie Foxx, Eddie Murphy. Oh
Eddie
man,
was
this list is
musical.
very.
Eddie dropped an album too, right?
Well, I know he dropped a single. I don't know if he dropped a full album. I know that my girl wants to party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
okay.
and
He
so, but
was
I
so
think
famous. Eddie
nah,
Murphy was famous as fuck, dog.
otherworldly. I,
Like,
when I finish this list, I gotta tell you how Eddie Murphy got my ass beat by my
yeah.
parents. It was absolutely
Okay,
hilarious.
okay,
But
okay.
so Eddie Murphy. And I want to preface this because a lot of people think we're too young to know some of the greats, but some of us really study the craft, right?
No, no,
So,
yeah, yeah.
like, I know currently, I think my favorite comic currently is probably Carlos Miller. Um,
Okay, yeah, yo. Carlos is
Dion,
funny as shit, yeah.
hilarious.
Says you want.
Oh, I'm having a ball. I almost didn't make it over here, man. I had to drive through Campione, get pulled over. I don't know what to do when the police pull me over, man. I
Start
just
talking
quit
like a
this place.
slave.
I don't know. You have any idea why I pulled you over? No, sir. I haven't the slightest idea why you pulled me over, sir. I just mosey along to the grocery. I looked behind you and seen blue lights and whooping and hollering.
Yeah, he's funny as fuck.
Man, from that same special, he did like 30 minutes on Laugh Out Loud. And it
Yeah,
was what I really appreciate about comedy, and we ain't got to the deep shit yet, but is that there's literally somebody with your perspective that's telling jokes, right? So
everyone. There,
he has a
any walk of life, there's some
there's somebody
comedian
for
that
you.
represents you, bro.
Exactly.
For
And
sure.
in that special, he did a bit about like when you older, your game is no longer money. Is you just go to somebody's house and fix shit. He said Mr. Charles been coming over there say every Sunday, sit on that same spot, and he just get up looking for shit to fix. And he's sitting over there trying to figure out if the wall and shit flush. And I'm like, but I done seen this nigga all my life in
That's
different
like an
variations.
uncle or a fucking. It could be
Yeah, a
anybody that
family
you.
friend, a family friend. Can't
Yeah,
nobody tell
whatever.
you what his relation is, but he done known your auntie Marissa for 37 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
So
I hear
that
you.
joke was just too
That
relatable.
that's a similar feeling that I get to like Shane Gillis, obviously, because like it's like Shane is just one of my homies that I grew up with. Like that's
Yeah.
the funny friend that you had. He was always chugging Bud Lights. He was always
Mm-hmm.
making fun of everybody. Somehow he got bitches. It made no sense, but
Yeah.
somehow he got bitches. And like he's just that relatable, like white dickhead fucking friend. And that's why like his comedy hits so hard for me because it's like, damn, I know one of every person that he's talking about, whether it's the
Yeah.
Fox News dad or
Exactly.
his heroin sister or
Uh-huh.
whatever the fuck. Like it's like I've seen that. I've been about like it's crazy.
He has one of the funniest bits about the Crimson Tide,
Oh,
about how
the
they and how they got
Bear
beat by
Bryant.
UCLO. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bear Bryant, yeah, the whole documentary, they're like patting Bear Bryant on the back, like, you finally let the black players play, Bear. And he's like, until you take a step back and realize it was 1974. He's like, God, a little late for
A
high
little late,
fives on
yeah.
this one, huh?
He said they
Like,
played UCLA and they beat the dog shit out of them.
yeah,
And
he goes,
then,
Alabama fans used to pack the stadium and be like, look at all those whites.
and he was like, so if the trans want some respect, they just got to get a hard nosed ball club. I was
Ru-
like,
Run it
didn't
down
see
your
it coming.
throat.
Exactly,
Run it
exactly.
down your throat. Yeah, dude,
Um,
Shane's awesome, bro. That's
yeah,
like he's I mean, there's a bunch of comedians that I follow now that I
right,
fuck with, but like he's just gotten so big. Another one too that like is the growth of it is insane to me is Drewski, dude. And he's not so much
yeah,
stand up, but
hmm
like the just entertainment aspect of like
yeah,
how he's branded himself, and he's
hmm
like he's a Georgia kid, like
yeah.
through I don't
Gwinnett,
think
right?
Gwinnett, I believe, yeah, Gwinnett. So like a buddy of mine growing up is good friends with him. I won't
Hmm.
put his name in here because he probably wouldn't want me to, but he was good friends with Drewski growing up. And I remember back then we just used to be like, "Yo, that's our homie's just fat, funny friend."
Yeah,
We would just see him in Instagram pictures, be like, "Who the fuck?" And then all of a sudden he got big, and I was like,
freaking famous.
"Is that his? Is that my?"
Yeah,
And I called my boy. I was like, "Is that so and so?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, it's nuts." And I'm like, "The dude blew." I mean, from
yeah.
doing
He
sleepover streams with Kevin Hart and like
was
fucking
with Kai, and yeah,
Kai, and
he's
I
one of the
mean,
people that I always root for because it's like. Because he tells a story that's super relatable. He was like, man, I was in college, didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. Just, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So he went all in on it, and it proved to be what it needed to be. So he's somebody
And
that I root for consistently.
and a lot of us had that starving artist like
Hmm.
perspective of like we believe in what we're doing. Like I know I've heard your music, I've heard your comedy now. Like I know that you're just as confident in your art and what you create as I am. And you, not only that, but we've had outside sources give us that validation too throughout the
Hmm.
years and be like, yo, what the fuck? You're so talented. You should be doing
Yeah.
more. You should be. So that alone is like it's a big driving force of that, like that what if, like, why, if I stop now, who knows?
And
Mother.
the crazy part about how you say even just like the outside forces kind of reconfirming something that you already kind of see within yourself. It was like when people find out I did music, it's usually the subconscious eye roll, like so does everybody, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
typically there's still even in that I kind of liked that moment because I knew if I played something, they usually like, oh wait,
Then you
that's
turn
okay, that's
around.
actually
Mm-hmm.
cool. But what was funny, so um I didn't finish that story, but what got me back onto comedy is one of my mentors. He threw a birthday party. He made it a comedy show, so that got me on stage to do it again. And I posted clips from that, and I'm talking about people were like, you know what, this makes all the sense in the world. How long you been doing this? It feels like you've been doing it for forever. So I'm like, this is almost it. I
You're
don't want to fall
very
victim. I
You
don't
look
want to fall
very
victim to
comfortable. You look very
yeah.
comfortable from what I saw. It seemed
Appreciate
when
it,
I
man.
saw the clips, like I said, I watch comedy constantly. When I saw the clips, I was like, damn, he really worked on that and then got up there and is reinventing himself, which is fucking
Yeah,
that's so sick as an artist to like just do it. Just
appreciate
fuck
that,
it.
man.
Do it, bro. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Hell
And
yeah.
I just tried to not fall victim to obviously the instant gratification, like, oh, they like what I do. But I'm talking about it's people, well, one, usually people will see me and be like, oh yeah, I saw that. I'm talking about they're engaging, like, yo, this is crazy. Like leaving a comment, then hitting my DM like, dog, let me know when the next one I'm like, they were never really that enthused
With the
about the
music.
music. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
But I also had to learn the type of music I made maybe was more personal because I still had those conversations like, dog, that song, da 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 da.
Yeah.
But it was still a different type of, you know what I'm saying, enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah,
well, let me see.
I feel the same way about the podcast. I mean, I was doing shows with the rapping shit for the good part of 6 or 7 years.
Hmm.
So like the the amount of people that I got to come out to shows, I got some people to come out to shows. Me and my, Porch, you remember Porch, me and him
Hmm.
we threw a big show. This was 2019, like right was when the world was shutting down. We had an
Yeah.
end of the world party right before the quarantine and all that crazy shit. And we
Yeah.
sold out Artisans and we had a fucking crazy party. And then it was like, and we had like 200 people there. It was wild. We were popping bottles on stage and pouring shots into people's mouths off the stage.
Hmm.
Like it was lit.
It's a
Um,
vibe.
but then like, not saying that the pandemic changed things, but you grow up from 25 to fucking 29. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Those 4 years, a lot of things happened and getting out and going to the studio wasn't accessible. Going to, you know, um, shows and concerts wasn't a thing for a while. So you get into comedy and you get into this art form that you just need one person and a mic.
Yeah.
And
Literally.
and
Literally.
podcasting especially, I mean, dude, yeah, already in this episode, like I feel like I've had one of the more engaging conversations I've had with any of my guests. So
Glad I
like,
cut
so like you're made for podcasting. Like it's all about just having stories and fucking talking shit. And
it.
so
Man, have you heard the Club 520 podcast?
who's that?
Club 520 is you're a Knicks fan, but you know who Jeff Teague is? He used to play for the Hawks.
Yeah,
Jeff
okay,
Teague
I've
and some of
seen
his
clips.
buddies.
I didn't know what it
Right.
was called, but I've seen clips
Hmm.
from it. Okay.
So it's his character, not character. It's this guy on there named B Hen, right? And soon as the podcast blew, all my friends texted me like, "Yo, you know who B Hen is? You know who B Hen is?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it was like, "This is your doppelganger, bro. This is exactly who you." So I tap in for real. I'm like, "This dude is hilarious."
Yeah.
And me and a couple of my buddies had actually started a podcast years ago. We probably did it for about a year. So we probably got to around 80 something shows, which was cool. But my thing was, I was like, we don't have nothing to lose. So I'm sitting there having conversations similar to the be here, but they like, everybody butthole getting tight, and I'm like, nigga, I thought we was here to joke and to kick shit. Y'all too
That
polished. We ain't got no fan base yet. We got to go for it.
Yeah,
So
and this is also another thing. Like I'm a big believer, and I don't give a fuck what your background, what your political stance is, what your anything is. Comedy,
mhm.
if you don't understand that, like you're gonna step on a toe, no matter what the toe is. If
Yeah.
you're doing this shit right, somebody's gonna get upset, and you can't stop saying a joke that you know is funny just
hmm
because you know someone's gonna get upset about it. There's just
Yeah.
it doesn't have a place in the art form. It doesn't, and that's why it like I don't know if you watched. I'm sure you watched the roast of Kevin Hart,
Yeah.
and all the backlash that happened from certain comics telling certain jokes
hmm
and I get that there's gonna be people that get upset about any joke ever, but it blew my mind the amount of comedians that were coming out that were saying that so and so can't say this joke or
Yeah.
he's a Nazi or he's a bigot or he's a. I thought it was comedy. When did it ever stop being more than that? And I don't.
So here's my thing, right? I agree that there will be toes stepped on
Uh-oh, I got to
when
take a
certain jokes
shot
are
for this
told.
one. This conversation is taking a turn. I may have to take a shot.
So and I promise you, I'm not gonna get super Umarish, right? I don't believe as extremely as
let
he
me let me
does.
stop you and tell you,
Yeah,
I love Dr. Umar, dude.
he's absolutely
He
incredible.
probably hates me, but I love Dr. Umar, dog.
He's incredible, but
He's he
he's
cracks
a
me up.
little extreme, but he's
At first,
hilarious.
at first, I was like, because you watch his content, and I'm like, is he being fully serious or does he know that this is funny? Because certain
hmm
shit he goes out at like he makes his point, but he goes like over and he keeps going. And but like I love the like
Yeah.
I have to watch. Like I have to watch because it's
So
such good content.
it's fire because he literally has the um accomplishments and achievements behind because he really is a doctor, unlike
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
Cheyenne Bryant. But
yeah,
but he's also entertaining. So he walks that line really well, right?
yeah.
Real quick, was that what was that you took a shot of?
Vodka.
Oh, well, I thought it was me compo. I thought you knew something. I thought you knew a little something.
Nah, nah, nah. This is
But
just a little, it's a little Wheatley, bro. Look, I got the,
heard
I,
you.
I got the Cody Rhodes bottle, dude. You know.
Got you. But but back to the roast. I'm typically um no holds bars when it comes to comedy. And my confusion became initially was why people were so mad at Kevin. You know what I mean? And
About the writers being all white.
not so much about that because that is a grievance that I do have with him in regards. But my thing was, what exactly did they want him to do in the moment to Tony Hinchcliffe? You know what I mean? Because now it's a production, it's live, big
Yeah.
money's on the line, and so my thing
And
is,
Kevin wants the show to go well.
and he wants to go, he wants the show to go well ultimately.
He's a professional over
hmm
anything.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I actually think Tony is a funny person. But there is a line that I think each individual has to find for themselves, right?
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
it's just a matter of being able to read the room.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's more important than how funny you think you can, you know what I'm saying, think you can be. So
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily, I wasn't mad at the attempt because I believe people should be able to attempt to make the joke.
You
But
think it
one,
should have been funnier and more tactful.
yes,
Okay.
essentially.
Okay.
Essentially. And and also you don't need it. His set was really great up until that
And
point.
and that seemed like
So
a shot below the ribs that was
mhm,
unnecessary on an
exactly.
already good set.
Exactly. So
I can
I
I can
think
see that. And that's dude, I've heard a lot of fucking people talk about this and
yeah.
that's the most succinct that I've heard it be explained from a black perspective first of all,
hmm
but just from a perspective that is anti Tony.
Yeah.
Like or not anti cuz you're neutral. You think he is
hmm
funny. So
Yeah.
but like I just like I saw a bunch of shit. I mean, the Chelsea Handler thing. I mean, I've already talked about this. I don't want to like keep going into this too much because I've
Okay.
talked about it on an episode. But the Chelsea Handler thing was one of the biggest things that pissed me off, just because back in her early days in stand up, she was that comedian. She was a shock comedian that would make jokes that she shouldn't have been making.
Right.
And it's just like, it seemed a little weird for her to go out of her way to be
Hmm.
offended on behalf of a thing that she's not a part of or not, you
So
know.
I think a couple of things. I think that Tony's probably rubbed people the wrong way on a personal level,
Oh
where they
yeah.
don't have any problem kicking his backhand.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's one thing to not like what somebody does professionally. Like I um I wasn't a real big fan of Pete Davidson's comedy. Like I didn't always think he was funny, even though he had a pretty decent set on the roast.
Yeah.
But people speak so highly of the person that he is, it kind of
Yeah.
outweighs that for me. It's like, hey man, people, you're a good person to
He's a
everybody that
good
you
dude.
touch.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that. So if people can support you, because somebody told me at one open mic, it's important to be a better person than you are an artist, and I think that blew me away in the sense of
Yeah.
like people really understand each other's humanity. So
Yeah.
I think there's something that's missing. Again, I don't know Tony. I think he's
So
a great
so
comic, but I don't
this
know that.
is this is a this is something that like, and I love that we're having, I feel like this is such a fucking great discourse on this. But like,
Hmm.
I come from the perspective of somebody who listens to Tony Hinchcliffe a lot.
Hmm.
I've listened to every episode of Kill Tony
Right.
since, 2000 fucking 14, maybe
Hmm.
2015. And I just I see how a lot of people portray him and paint him based on his comedy and certain things that he says in his acts and stuff like that. But I've just seen the dude that he is and the opportunities that he's unlocked for so many different, like,
Yeah.
disenfranchised comedians and comedians that would never have gotten shine if it wasn't for Tony.
I was
And
just gonna say he
like
has
he
it's the comic. I'm sorry not to cut you off,
no,
but
go ahead.
this is the guy Cam So Funny. He
Yeah.
really broke off of Kill Tony, and now he's on
Yeah.
SNL. He just did an interview
I
with
watched
Conversation.
Cam Patterson
Cam
on
Patterson, yeah.
Cam Patterson. I watched Cam on Kill Tony for 3 years, bro. I saw him live. I went to Austin and watched them, and he
Wow.
was like, when he was first popping out on the Kill Tony scene, and he just had, I mean, he stole the Kill Tony universe
Hmm.
like by storm. So like, I always say to people that like haven't watched Kill Tony or really aren't into it, the old guard of comedians, it used to be you would put together material, right? And then you would get your 15, 20 minutes. And then that, in hopes you would go to like Johnny Carson or one of the Tonight shows, you'd be
Hmm.
able to pop your shit off in hopes of getting a sitcom or being put in a comedy movie or being just able to be a writer on
Right.
anything, any opportunity you can get. Well, now that TV is dying, like that shit is no longer popular. The
Yeah.
new way of doing this is gonna be through shows like Kill Tony that want to highlight comedians and want to give comedians, young rising comedians, opportunities to get their shit off. And the how I know he's a good dude and not this bigot that everyone paints him as is like, they say that, he doesn't like trans people, he doesn't like blacks, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like that. Look at all of his regulars, look at all the people that he makes famous, that he gets opportunities to.
Yeah.
They're all the same people that people say he hates. And
Hmm.
so it's just, I feel like I'm a very good judge of character, and I also have a very dark sense of humor and have laughed
Right.
at things that most people probably would be like, oh my god, that was crazy, or
Hmm.
give it like a groan. But like, it's hard for me to believe that he's such this bad guy. Yeah, maybe makes the wrong decision on which jokes to pull the trigger on. I can
Hmm.
agree with that wholeheartedly. The George
So
Floyd joke specifically could have been edited out very
yeah.
easily and it would have been
Right.
great.
And I think so. The reason I can give you that is because I'm also an avid listener of the Joe Budden podcast, right? And
Okay.
across the masses, Joe Budden has had PR of being, just this brash hater, da 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 da.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've listened to the podcast in full. I've listened to him enough to know that when he's being performative, how insightful and just all of the different things that make a person rather than clip culture. So
Absolutely.
I will give you that there could be so much more to Tony that people don't know, see, or get
Y-
a chance to acknowledge.
Unless you see the
Um,
full scope of his work. Yeah.
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 However, However, I also, and this is my personal scale as far as comedy goes, I think there is a world where you have to, and even Dave Chappelle's critics have given him this pushback. There is a world where you can be funny without seemingly punching down.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
So it's like, if that's all I see, and how people be like, "Oh, you are who you are when nobody's looking." I kind of call bullshit on that, because this world is full of perceptions, and how people perceive you is essentially who you are. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, I mean, if the juice is worth the squeeze for you, be all you can be, but you have to be aware of how it comes across. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Tony's made um definitely a living off of, you know, taking shots like that.
Hmm.
Some working out and some not working out. But
Right.
yeah, let's move on from the Kevin Hart roast. I
Got you.
feel
Got you.
like
Got you.
I've covered it like 800 times on this podcast.
Yeah.
But Kill Tony and that roast are it's definitely current comedy controversy. So
Yeah.
it's something that, I mean, I've had a couple guests
It's
on and I'll ask them about, comedy, and somehow it always circles back to Tony or Kill Tony in some
it,
fashion.
it damn near officially replaced that Cat Williams interview from a few years ago.
Yeah. Dude, that Cat, bro, I fucking love Cat. Cat can do
Yeah.
no wrong in my book. I mean, except for getting his ass beat by like a 13-year-old or
13-year-old, right?
whatever the fuck happened that day. But
Yeah.
he's also the size of a 12-year-old, so that doesn't really
You
shock
know,
me. But yeah, dude,
he's on
Cat,
he's on my pantheon of specials though, for
yeah.
sure.
It's Pimpin' and
Oh my gosh.
the Pimp Chronicles, like those specials, bro. Those
I'm
were
so
those were
glad you said that one first, because people typically lean on Pimp Chronicles, but
Nah,
it's
it's
Pimpin' Pimpin'.
Pimpin'. It's Pimpin',
You
bro.
know how
That was
people have, like, older comics have the story of having to sneak and listen to the Red Fox records or the Richard Pryor records. My
yep.
folks had the DVD, and I had to listen from the stairs. And I put the DVD in when ain't nobody home, and I'm like, "This is
All right, so
incredible."
I gotta show you something.
Do you think I'm a tiger? I don't
I,
feel very much like a tiger right now. Maybe I'm
yo,
just a vicious ass koala bear. Listen, man.
I gotta show you something. So a buddy of mine just gave me these gifts because he knows that
Hmm.
I love comedy, and
Okay.
one is an old Richard Pryor album,
Okay.
a vinyl,
Hmm.
and like vintage. Let me show you because this shit is sick as fuck. So it's a couple of these are funny. So the first one he got me was this. It's George
Class clown.
Carlin, Class Clown by George Carlin, which has his like most famous bit, the 7 words you can never say on television.
Uh-huh.
This is just a funny one that he happened to give me.
Back it up a little bit. The green screen, Oh, Cosby, why is there here? Okay.
So he gave me that one, which I don't even know if I should show that one out loud. And this one, I'm definitely gonna have to edit the title, but
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think I
show it to you.
I don't think I ever saw a young Bill Cosby. I was like, who in the fuck is that? All right.
Yeah.
that
looks like
that
Ra-
was crazy.
looks like
Yeah.
Rajon Rondo.
Right. It's like he's explaining the PowerPoint. So when you put the pill in the drink, this was gonna happen. All right.
The pudding pops and all the.
Yeah.
And then this one, I'm definitely gonna have to edit out the title of.
Back it up a little bit more.
Yeah, it says what you think it says.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I know that one. Yeah, yeah. I'm with you.
But yeah, so he's like, dude, I've had these laying around. I think they were my dad's or whatever, and I just got a record player for Christmas. So I was like, yeah, bro, bring that shit over. I'm gonna fucking
Yeah.
spin those. That's
Yeah.
just that's just crazy. That's like, like comedy in a time machine right there, bro.
Man, I can't tell you. I don't know why I didn't think of it. But when I found out that I could play people's comedy albums on Apple Music,
Yeah.
changed the game.
Hell yeah.
Changed the game.
Yeah, so I listen to one of the ones I listen to all the time, Mitch Hedberg's Mitch Altogether. Have
Okay.
you ever heard of Mitch
Nah,
Hedberg?
you put me on right now.
Yeah, let me. So he passed away. He's an old. He's was I want to say late '90s, early 2000s, and he
Okay.
passed away from an overdose. But he was a funny motherfucker, and he was like, Mitch was like straight one liners, but
Okay.
when I say one-liners, they're so clever and so like out of left field that the whole time you're just waiting. Like you think you got him, and then he gets you, and you're like, "Damn, how do you
On
do
some
that?" Like,
who's that remind me of when you describe it? Like Jeselnik.
yeah, Anthony
Yeah,
Jeselnik, but this
Jeselnik.
this
Yeah.
one's this one's a little bit more like playful and
Okay.
whimsical and like stonerish, whereas Jeselnik's more
Okay.
like dark,
Dark.
deadpan.
Yeah.
But yeah, after this, go look up Mitch Hedberg and like some of his one-liners.
Okay.
Some of
Yeah.
the fun.
Shoot me a DM with his name so I don't forget it.
Yeah, yeah, I will for sure. He was a fucking legend, bro. He was one of
Okay.
those that like he kind of formed some of my comedy because it made it more for me than it just being crude. Because I do like crude comedy. If it's like
Hmm.
funny, I'm okay with that. But
Yeah.
like he made it to where like I had to think about it, make it more clever, and
Hmm.
kind of hide the funny and then hit him with
Exactly.
it. You know.
Exactly.
So yeah, bro. Um. So have you ever done any acting?
Um, Professionally, no. There was an era I archived the post. There was an era where I had a couple of skits that even performed well on Instagram. But when I said I'm gonna dedicate to the music, I took them down, and I
Yeah.
did a couple of skits for a couple of other people. So that's
Okay.
as far as the acting went.
So I've said it on the pod before. I'm actually writing a show right now.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know if you've ever worked in a restaurant, but it's about a restaurant work being a bartender in a dive bar, and
Hmm.
it's going to be like The Office meets like It's Always Sunny meets this meets that.
Yeah.
But I need funny people that want to be a part of it. So if any part of you wants to get in on
Hell
it
yeah.
or be a part of it, bro, I'd love for you to be a part of
Hell
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any experience in like script writing, but one of my homies he does, and
Yeah.
I kind of had a similar thought for a show, but on like a cruise ship, right? Because cruises themselves are nutty to begin with, but if you
Yeah.
have the mockumentary style of The Office or Abbott Elementary, and there's so
Yeah.
many different types of characters that you can have on the cruise, it's like I thought that
so,
that would be absolutely hilarious.
so I just started writing one day because I was at work and I have a few buddies of mine at work that are super funny and like they're musicians and just creatives the way we
Hmm.
are. And we work in this dive bar. We know so many crazy regulars and characters and just experiences from just working and getting,
Yeah,
babysitting these fucking drunk idiots every weekend. And so I just started writing one day and going wild and making kind of characters out of some of the people I work with. But
yeah.
like I also have characters that need to be played of everything. Like, and I'm, if you're willing to be a part of it, I'll work you in or write you in, and we'll.
Yeah, let's definitely figure that out. That'll be fun.
I just want funny people to be a part of it and people that will take it serious. And I think, like, like I said, dude, this time around, I had the podcast going for a year and a half with my co-host, and like
Mhm.
it was great, and we had a lot of good episodes, but it was a lot of like conflicting ideas, conflicting, momentums and what we were trying to do. So like
Mhm.
now that it's been just me, my vision and my motivation for it has just been so much clearer in like getting content out and like making this shit, as real as it can be this time around. So great conversations like this shit and working on new cool fucking ideas is where I'm taking this thing. So
Say no more, man. You gotta find a way to keep the ball rolling. That's
that's
always
it.
important. The worst thing you can do is allow your creativity to just kind of wither. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Hell yeah,
So
dude. Yeah, bro. Well, shit, dude. We've been going 45 minutes. I don't like to keep these too long, but
okay.
I appreciate you coming on, man. And
And I appreciate you thinking of me, dog.
yeah, bro, picking your brain about comedy and all types of shit. And anytime that you got something to say or something to plug, you got a place on the show. Come fuck with
Yeah,
us.
I appreciate it. I will do, bro. This was fun. I had a
Hell
good
yeah.
time.
Hell yeah, man. So as always, I'm your host of Exchanging Bits, Joe Campione. Thank you to my guest, Elijah Cozart
Yeah, man.
on the
Follow me on
ones and
Instagram
twos.
too, man. Follow me on Instagram at Elijah.Cozart and Coziest Comedy. We finna get the content going.
Go follow my boy. He's funny as fuck. But thank you guys. Peace out, assholes.
Thank you for watching Exchanging Bits with Joe Campione. Until next time, you fucking assholes.